I'm Deborah Franklin, one of the managing directors here at Jewel Box Theater, and the lucky director who is going to direct Blithe Spirit by Noel Coward. This is one of my favorite plays. I've directed it, I've been in it, and now I get to do it again. And I would love to have you join me. I'm auditioning for this fabulous play on January 18th, Saturday, 3 to 5 p.m. And I am looking for a lot of very talented people to show up because this is a play that you do not want to miss. Now, Blithe Spirit takes place in the 1940s in Kent, England. Now, you'll need to brush off your British accents, but honestly, don't freak out if it's not great. I mean, we are going to have rehearsals to fix things like that. As long as you can get rid of your Okie-isms, if you have any, and make sure that you give me a good standard American stage dialect, we're going to be fine. But it does take place in Kent, England in 1940, and let's talk about some of the characters. We have Charles Condamine, who is one of the leads, and Charles is a novelist who is about to write a book that is going to include a seance, and he doesn't know much about seances, so he has invited a local spiritualist called Madame Arcati to join him for dinner so that he can have her do a seance and he can get some of the lingo and get a feel for what that's all about. Now, that's kind of tricky because she thinks he's doing it for real, but nevertheless, it's research for his book. He is aided in this dinner by his wife, Ruth, and he and Ruth are excited to see what's going to happen, and they also have some friends of theirs coming over, Dr. and Mrs. Bradman, who they have met through social occasions, and the four of them are all in on the seance, which is really for Charles's work. As they are preparing for this dinner, Ruth and Charles have a lot of conversation about Charles's first wife, Elvira. He was widowed before he met Ruth, and Elvira was his first wife. And they have a few moments of conversation about Elvira, and then the Bradmans appear, and finally Madame Arcati shows up and indeed has the seance. During the seance, things get pretty interesting, and what nobody knows, although Charles might have a suspicion that something's weird has happened, Madame Arcati is better at what she does than they think. She's no phony baloney. She conjures up the spirit of Elvira. Unfortunately, Charles is the only person who can see Elvira. So as he talks to her and reacts to seeing her, nobody else really knows what's going on. And you can just imagine Ruth, I can imagine Ruth watching her husband talking to himself all over the house, saying the weirdest things. Well, let's just say comedy ensues. The other character that we have in the play is Edith. She is their maid, and she is introduced early on as they're preparing for dinner. Edith is always in a hurry. She's always moving, and she's pretty easily frightened. And she's just a really sweet little featured character that someone is going to enjoy playing. I'm also going to have Edith do some prop changes in between scenes so that she'll get a little more stage time, and the audience will enjoy watching her do that, I think, better than just work lights. Okay, that takes care of all of the characters that are in the play. There are 7. The leads are Charles, Ruth, and Elvira. And those 3 people, in the audition announcement, I said, I'm looking for people 30s through 50s, or look 30s through 50s. It really doesn't matter what age we are. What matters is what we can play. So I'm very open to that. But Charles and Ruth and Elvira need to be contemporaries. So whatever age range I end up in, those three are going to have to look like contemporaries. Dr. and Mrs. Bradman probably need to be contemporaries, but we'll see about that. They could be older or younger than Charles and Ruth. That would be fine. Madame Arcadi is generally played by what those of us who are there like to call a mature actress. She can really be any age. The most important thing is that she is a character. You have to be willing to let loose when you are Madame Arcadi. It's just a fabulous, fabulous role that I hope I get to play someday. But I am open to those of you women who are my generation, come on down. If you're younger than that and you want to give it a try, come on down, show me what you've got. And then Edith can be any age, really. She does have to be able to move very quickly across stage. That's the only requirement we have for Edith. And if you're thinking about auditioning and you're not sure, then I would say do it anyway, because you never know how things are going to go at an audition. I am really wide open this time. Sometimes as directors we have some thoughts about what we want. I have thoughts about these characters, but I don't have any people in mind. I don't have any specific ages in mind, more than what I've told you. So I'm really wide open and excited to see what you can do with these characters whenever you come into auditions. We talked about age and how, don't let that stop you. Don't let anything stop you from auditioning for my shows or any shows at Jewel Box Theater. I can say that about Jewel Box, but I hope you all will come on out and audition for us here at Jewel Box. If you can't make this play, although I really hope you can, then we have 4 more shows coming up this season, and they're all just fabulous shows, and we are looking forward to having you here. It's one of my favorite times is to see everybody show up at auditions. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys here. It is open call, read from the script on January 18th. It's a Saturday from 3 to 5, and then I'll be having callbacks on Sunday, the 19th, from 3 to 5. We are at the theater which is at the corner of 36th and Walker. If you haven't been here recently, you will note that the drive that was on Walker is now closed, so you will have to come in at the drive on 36th Street and wind around until you get here. There's a whole lot of construction going on, so if you haven't been here since the last show of the season or the last audition, it looks pretty different out there, but once you get in the building, it all looks the same. Anyway, we are looking forward to having you here. Can't wait to see you audition. Come on down for Blithe Spirit by Noel Coward. Thank you.